What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about miscommunication, or is it a red flag, okay? So this actually is coming up from a client of mine who said I can use this, this is a picture perfect example of times where miscommunication is a really bad downfall, because the guy was actually interested, but as you're going to see by the story I'm about to tell, she was her own worst enemy and pushed the guys away. Now, before we get into that, disclaimer, I'm not saying women are always the problem, because they're not. I just talk about it a lot because it's my audience. I don't give a fuck what guys are doing or this or that, because they're not my audience. There's dating coaches for men out there. I'm for you. So I'm not trying to put the pressure or blame on you. It's not your fault. It's 50-50. Guys are just as bad, if not worse, but I'm talking to you. So here's the thing. I had a client who had this guy come over. They went on a couple dates, and the second day she had a guy come over and they hooked up. They got down and dirty and stuff like that. And then after it, they were cuddling. She was she was very vulnerable, opening up to him, saying that she was afraid of getting hurt, and afraid of this, afraid of that, which I totally understand, okay? Totally understand why that's happening. I do and I don't. I understand that women are vulnerable after sex. I know women are this and that and all these kind of things, okay? Much different than men. But she became pretty clingy, pretty needy, all these kind of things. And the next day, the guy not the next day, but I'll say within the next week, the guy was slowly pulling away, slowly doing different things, slowly, all that kind of stuff. And she reached out to him, was like, dude, you're just like every other guy. You're just like this. You're just like that. I can't believe I can't believe I slept with you. Like ripping him new ones, right? And he's just like, what? Whatever. And she ended up emailing me, telling me the story that, her and this guy met. They got together a couple of times. Great chemistry. She could tell he really liked her. They were connecting. All these, she would tell me the things he was saying, things they were doing. He was making a lot of initiation and efforts to see her, all these kind of things. And then they hooked up and he started pulling away. Well, when I was reading the email, I was thinking, it's not that, he's not, she was telling me that he's a player and that he's like every other guy and how to get over it, or what does she do wrong or whatever, how do I keep these guys from coming, around, players or low ego men and things like that. And I read the email and I'm thinking, this guy isn't a low ego man. He's a good guy. He's actually a great guy. I was reading all the things he was doing for her and him reaching out and doing this, and he was confident. He seemed very stable with himself and confident. Had a good self-esteem. Had a good head on. So all those kind of things. And he was actually interested in this girl, but she was wondering why he was pulling away so much. And I'm not. And it's miscommunication. Communication. It's the guy actually liked her a lot, but because she was showing all those red flags after hooking up, which again, ladies, I understand it's really hard not to show a guy you're interested, or if you have a low confidence or low self-esteem, I understand that you're coming from this place of scarcity, that you want to hold on to this guy, you don't want him to go, you want to make sure you know where you stand. I understand, but here's the thing, that caused this girl a great guy. The guy did not pull away because of he was a player or he was a low ego man. Instead, he pulled away because she was showing all these red flags, one after another. If you read the things that she did, the opening up, saying she was afraid of this, afraid of that, all these kind of things. And she's thinking, or like, why? I can't believe this guy pulled away from me. I thought he was so right. He was a great guy. He showed me all the good signs. What did I do wrong? And now she probably feels that it's really hard to find a guy because of this guy tricked her, who was pretty much perfect for her. Then any guy can trick her. But here's the thing: the guy was a good guy. He pulled away because of of the red flags, and that's kind of what I want to tell a lot of women here. You have to, before when a guy's pulling away, always do some self-reflection first. I'm not telling you it's your fault and putting the blame on you and it's not the guy's fault, because a lot of the times there's a lot of D-bag men out there. Totally understand that. But in this case, okay, it was miscommunication. She thought the guy was a D-bag. because he was pulling away, and she started yelling at him and getting at him and texting him all these mean things. But in reality, the reason he was pulling away is because she was showing red flags. And again, I'm not saying it's always a woman's fault, but I feel like both sexes, when something happens, like when a girl's pulling away from a guy also, don't blame the girl for being an asshole or close-hearted or a slut because, there's another guy or something like that. No, the guy needs to do some self-reflection too and think, why is she pulling away? Because in this case, this guy was great for her, and she was just showing a red flag one after another, and that's what pushed him away. And I feel like a lot of women out there, and I see this a lot with my clients, but this was a good example, so that's why I'm using it. A lot of my clients, they have guys who are decent guys, but they're showing all these red flags after an event, right? After a first date, they're texting nonstop, or after they have sex, they're all over the guy and they're afraid of losing him, and they open up and they're seeking validation and approval and all these kind of things, and then these guys pull away and they're like, oh, fuck him, he's just like every other guy. But that's not the case. It was miscommunication. You think he's pulling away for one reason, but he's pulling away for a whole other one. You have to be on the same page with these kind of things. And if you have red flags, I think red flags are knots in the line of communication. It bundles everything up and kind of throws them in different ways, So you have to get rid of those red flags. I always talk about it. And it's easier said than done, I know. It's not like you can just snap your fingers and not, want to worry about where you stand or your validation with this guy, or if the guy even likes you. All these, I totally understand, but I do think it's something we need to work on. And the best way to do it right now is before you even start judging the guy for pulling away. And again, if guys are watching this, before you start judging the girl for pulling away and talking to another guy, or just being, leading you on or giving you blue balls or something like that, guys, you have to look at yourself and see, what am I doing wrong? Did I do anything wrong? What's the reason? There's always a reason someone's pulling away, okay? There's always a reason someone's pulling away. It's either you did something or they're just not wanting the same thing as you, right? So it's either one of those two things for the most part. You're either doing something wrong or not doing something enough, whatever it is, and they are maybe just not on the same page as you. They're a low ego asshole, whatever it is, okay? So with that being said, do some self-reflection first, because this girl had a really good guy, but threw it away because of miscommunication. She thought the guy was an asshole, but he was actually slowly pulling away because of the red flag. So she stopped it about halfway through with those things and said, dude, my bad. I realize why you're pulling away now. Totally understandable. The guy would probably be like, cool. Because this guy seemed like a really good guy. He'd be like, cool, don't even worry about it. Here, that it just happens. So with that being said, I love you ladies. Take care and peace.